Hey guys, welcome back. This is going to be my third trimester vlog, just the beginning of it anyway. Today is Sunday the 17th of April, it's Easter Sunday, so happy Easter if you celebrated. Hope you had a good one, because this won't be coming out for a while. But yeah, I'm actually 29 weeks pregnant now, so well into my third trimester. I will be honest, it's not been great. It's been incredibly difficult. Basically Layla's been on her Easter holidays for the last couple of weeks and I've barely been able to do anything with her. Like we've done a lot of stuff, in fairness, but at the same time I've really struggled and really relied on Perry and friends and family and stuff to help out, which thankfully we have people around us to help out and stuff like that. But it's not been quite the Easter holidays that I'd had in mind. I had all these plans of things that I wanted to do with her, but I just have not had the energy to be able to do them, or I've been in so much pain that I haven't been able to do much of anything, let alone go out and do fun things. So where to begin? Right, so right around turning 27 weeks is when the really bad pain started. I started to get really bad lower back pain, pain around the bump, like just pelvic girdle pain, and my pre-existing back pain started to kick in full force. Yeah, really not having fun with this at all. The pain's been so bad to the point where I'm like, the only thing I can do is go lie down. Like sitting up hurts, standing hurts, walking around hurts. Like literally the only thing I can do is to go lie down. So I've been napping a lot as a result, because when you lie down and don't do anything, you fall asleep. So that's not been great for my like sleep pattern in general. I've just been very tired a lot, in pain a lot, and just not feeling great. Then I had an osteopath appointment, not this past week, the week before, and they were running through my symptoms, but at the beginning of the session, and they got concerned with a couple of them, and they thought that I might have had a condition called cauda equina, which is very serious. Like it is extremely serious. If you have that, like you could end up paralyzed if you don't treat it quickly. So obviously that freaked me out. So I had to cancel my plans for the day, because after that appointment we were supposed to go meet up with one of Layla's school friends for the morning and go do something, and I had to cancel that. And then I had to quickly try and find someone to look after Layla, because of course that would be the one day when Perry had to go into London for work, and so he wasn't around because of course that would happen. And I'm like, they were like, you have to go to A&E right now. And I was like, okay, what do I do with my child? Because I don't, my husband's not at home. He normally is, but he's not today. And I don't want to take her to A&E because, like, I don't know how long I'm going to be there, for one. Two, I don't want to potentially expose her to stuff. And three, she's going to be bored out of her bloody mind if I take her to the hospital, because goodness knows how long I'm going to be there. So thankfully a friend of ours who lives not very far away at all, like 10-15 minutes away, they've got a daughter who's same sort of age as Layla, and they were able to take her for the day. So that was great. I went and dropped her off and then basically took myself straight to hospital. And got to A&E. Thankfully I got very lucky. All in all, I was only in the A&E for about an hour and a half, so very quick. Got seen very quickly, got referred to be checked out further by the A&E GP, the general doctor basically, and she did some like external examinations on my back, tested to see my range of motion and stuff, and went over my symptoms again, and she was like, okay, you don't have cauda equina, this is not that, this is just really severe pelvic girdle pain that's flared up. And she was like, if you had cauda equina, you wouldn't have been able to move in the ways that you did when I was examining your back. And I was like, okay. So that was a huge relief. The moment she said that, I basically burst into tears, because bear in mind, at the time I was only 27 weeks pregnant, and the thing is, with cauda equina, like the only solution, the only way to fix it is to have surgery. And I'm pregnant, so they can't do surgery on my back if I'm pregnant. So the thing that was running through my head was like, how long would they let me stay pregnant how long would they let me keep the baby inside before it got to a point where they would have to, if that was what I had. So there's me sat in the A&E department for like an hour and a half, and like this is what's running through my head. So the moment she told me it wasn't that, I basically just burst into tears from just like relief, I guess. Like I said, it was a false alarm. I think the thing is with osteopaths, they had, well, especially when something like cauda equina, because it is so serious, and they said this to me as well before I left there, they were like, we have a very low threshold for referring people to go to A&E because it's so serious. And so even if they have an inkling of a feeling that you might have this, they're going to tell you to go to see a doctor, they're going to tell you to go to the hospital and get it checked out, and like rule it out as a option, because also they don't want to do anything that's going to potentially make things worse. So I appreciated it from that perspective. It was just not what I expected to hear when I went into the hospital, when I went into the doctor's osteopath appointment that morning. And obviously because we'd had plans for the day, things kind of got really thrown out of whack. Layla thankfully was very understanding. She was really upset at first that our plans with her school friend got cancelled, understandably, but then when I rearranged and made plans for her to go to our friend's house, she was very happy about that. So thankfully she was okay. She, like I said, she was very understanding. And yeah, so, and there again, thankfully I was only at the hospital for an hour and a half. I ended up, my friend ended up keeping Layla for the rest of the day, and I picked her up in the afternoon, because if I'd gone back and picked her up so soon, she'd have been very disappointed. So I took some time and just had some downtime essentially before I had to go get her. But yeah, so that was a very stressful very stressful day that I could have done without, but thankfully, like I said, it all worked out okay. I'm actually going to go see a physiotherapist at the end of next week, so hopefully they'll be able to help with some stuff. I'm not entirely sure. Since that whole incident, I've had another scan. Baby's doing good. She is currently breech, so she's head up, feet down. Or head up, bum down. Can't remember where her feet are. Although since then I have felt her do some very big movements, so I don't actually know where she is now or how she's positioned. So we'll find out in another couple of weeks when I have my next scan. But yeah, so scan went well. Baby's doing fine. Baby's all measuring healthy, measuring as she's supposed to. Still definitely a girl. And yeah, so that was another bit of a relief. I've had my glucose test last week, so I'm waiting on the results of that. Essentially, if I get a phone, I'll only get a phone call if there's an issue with any of my blood test results. So if I don't hear anything, essentially it means there's no problems. There's no glucose issue, there's no gestational diabetes or anything. So just waiting to hear back on that. And then oh yeah, so I had like a routine appointment with a consultant at the hospital in the maternity department to just go over general stuff, and this was booked before the whole issue with my back happened, so it's not related. This is just kind of like procedural stuff. And sort of explaining my situation. And so a couple of things. I finally caved and accepted the prescription for some codeine painkillers, because I don't know, I'm very reluctant to take painkillers and stuff when I'm pregnant, just because, you know, don't really know what it's going to do to the baby and stuff. But I'm at that point now where not taking the painkillers is having a more negative impact on me and potentially for the baby than taking them would. And now I'm in the final trimester, it's less of a risk to the baby to have painkillers. And I'm only taking one, maybe two a day, so I'm not even taking the full amount that I can have. I'm just taking enough for the pain to be bearable, and so that I can actually do some stuff. And then the other thing that she said was I wouldn't normally be considered high risk for DVTs or deep vein thrombosis, like blood clots in my legs and stuff. I don't fit the criteria for what they would consider someone who's high risk, but because I am not moving as much, because I'm lying down so much, and because I'm in bed all the time, or so much of the time, they prescribed me some medication, so blood thinners basically, so now I have some joyful daily injections that I have to stab myself with in the leg to stop myself getting blood clots. So yes, fun times. Like I said, things are only getting worse. This pregnancy has been hands down so much harder. I was saying to Perry the other day, I was like, there was only 4 weeks in this pregnancy, between 16 and 20 weeks, where I had no nausea, no headaches, no pain. I still had low energy, but those were the 4 weeks where I almost felt normal. Before 16 weeks, I had really bad nausea and headaches most of the time, as well as the fatigue. After 16 weeks, I started drinking coffee again, so the fatigue started getting better and the nausea and headaches went away, which was amazing. And then after 20 weeks, the pelvic girdle pain started, and week on week, the pain has been getting worse. So that's the update for right now. I don't know, it's funny because Perry and I, we've always said we only wanted 2 children, and the other day Perry made a joke about like, oh, you know, what if we, like, about having a third at some point, and I was basically just like, what are you on about? I'm sorry, third child? If we're having a third child, it's not coming out of me. Like, there is no way no, I'm not doing this again. I did not enjoy being pregnant with Layla. Obviously wanted the baby, was happy that I was able to be pregnant, but it was miserable. Like, I did not enjoy the experience. It wasn't I was not one of those pregnant ladies who was like, this is all sunshine and roses and I love every moment of being pregnant. No, it was hard and I did not enjoy it. Obviously I enjoyed the end result. And it's the same this time around, but worse. Like, had this been my first pregnancy experience, I probably would not be having a second child right now. It's that bad. Like, it's definitely put me off ever being pregnant again. And it's not only hard on me, but it's hard on Perry and Layla, because it means, you know, he's having to take on a lot more of the parenting stuff, that just because I can't do anything, I can't do much, so he's taking on a lot, both with parenting and around the house. So it's not really fair on him either. And then Layla obviously is missing out on things that, I mean, she doesn't really realise she's missing out because I haven't told her about the plans that I had. So yeah, I don't know. I'm just very disheartened, I guess. Hey guys, so I thought I would come out in the garden today and do my pregnancy update from here today. I am now 30 weeks and 3 days pregnant. Today's Sunday. Sorry, there's a helicopter flying overhead. Oh no, it's a tiny plane. And it's Sunday the 24th, I want to say, of April, but I might have the date wrong. I think it's the 24th. And yeah, Perry and Layla are out at the moment. Layla's off to a birthday party today, so she's very excited about that, and Perry's taking her because, let's be honest, I can't stand on my feet for more than 5 minutes. So anyway, I actually came out into the garden because I'm starting a vlog for the channel, which you'll probably see before this video comes up, hopefully. Actually, I say that, I don't know entirely, but we'll see. One of these videos will be up before the other. But I wanted to give you guys a bit of an update. There's not been a huge amount that's happened since the last time I spoke to you. Yesterday, I hadn't slept well. We just really haven't been sleeping well recently at all. Like, well, to be honest, I don't remember the last time I did sleep well. And I went to bed quite, no, that's got nothing to do with it. Sorry, I'm getting like 2 different stories mixed up. Yeah, so I wasn't feeling too great yesterday, and I spent most of the morning and early afternoon in bed, which is pretty typical at the moment for me. But I realised by the time I got up around like 2ish, I hadn't really felt the baby move that much. I hadn't felt her moving around much during the day. She's normally pretty active, so it just seemed a little bit out of the ordinary for her. So I called the hospital, and they were like, oh, so that was the other thing. I realised I hadn't really eaten either, so I went and had some food, hoping that that would wake her up a little bit and that she would kind of like get moving. She did a little bit, but not much. So I was still a little bit concerned, and my midwife has always said to me, like, any reduced movements, anything like that at all, go into the hospital, get checked out. So I phoned the hospital and they were like, yeah, come in, we'll just do some monitoring, we'll make sure everything's okay, and then, you know, assuming all's fine, you can go home, kind of thing. So just like a peace of mind thing. Unfortunately, the hospital I have to go to, which is also the hospital I'll go to give birth, is back in the town where we used to live, so it's about a half-hour drive away. And because by this time it was late afternoon, and they don't allow children into the hospital unless they're the patient, Perry had to stay home with Layla and I drove myself, which was fine. Sorry, it's a train going by. That was fine, honestly. I didn't expect there to be much of a problem. I was pretty sure it was fine, but you know, it's just one of those things, you want the reassurance that it is. Thankfully it was. All the tests, all the monitoring stuff came back perfectly normal. And yeah, and then I just came home. I was home by like 7:30, I think, so it wasn't too bad. And yeah, so that's the update, the latest couple of like shenanigans that we've been up to with this baby. Yeah, definitely feeling really big now. I feel like in the last week or so at some point the belly has sort of dropped. I feel like this time round I was carrying really high. The bump felt really high up, and I felt the drop this time because ever since I feel like it's dropped, I feel a lot more pressure on my bladder than I did before. So I'm like going to the toilet even more frequently than I was beforehand, so I'm like basically living in the toilet at the moment. Between the toilet and the bedroom, that's basically my life. But yeah, no, otherwise everything's looking good. I think baby's still breech, or at least not head down anyway, which is fine. It's not a concern at the moment. They said it's not really an issue until 34 to 36 weeks, but it's a bit odd for me because Layla was head down in position ready to go from 26 weeks. So I'm just like, come on, what are you doing? But apparently it's very normal for babies not to be head down yet. So anyway, that's my update for now, and I will catch you guys again soon. Hey guys, it's a few days since I did the last update. It's now the 29th of April. I am officially 31 weeks pregnant. Boy, am I feeling it. The last couple of days have been rough. Basically just a lot of fatigue. On Wednesday this week Perry went into London, which is fine, but it meant I had to do drop off for Layla in the morning, and then there was a coffee morning at her school with a bunch of the parents and a couple of teachers, and then I had to do a couple of errands on my way home. So I got home around 10. I wasn't even out the house for that long. I was out maybe for like 2.5 hours. Got home and I was absolutely shattered. I was absolutely shattered. I went and crawled into bed. I was asleep by 10:30 and I slept till 2. So like I slept 3 hours and I was like, oh great, that's gonna mess up my sleep later. Didn't get any work done on Wednesday because I was in so much discomfort. Wednesday was basically a write-off work-wise. So by the time I got up, I ate something and then I had to go get Layla from school. Thankfully Perry got home and he was earlier than expected, so he was able to like take over and do bedtime and stuff, because I really wasn't feeling great. And I still went to bed at a reasonable time, like considering how much I slept during the day, which says a lot about how tired I must have been, because normally if I nap during the day it messes up my sleep at night, but I still went to sleep. By around midnight I was asleep, so I was clearly very tired. And then yesterday, what happened yesterday? Oh yeah, we had a plumber come in yesterday to like flush our heating system, and he must have thought I was a right lazy bum because I was in bed the whole time he was here. He must have thought I was such a lazy bum, because obviously he doesn't know what's going on. He doesn't know that I'm pregnant or what's happening, so he's just like, sorry. Well, anyway, it was hilarious. I thought it was hilarious. I don't really care, to be quite honest. Like, it doesn't bother me in that way. I'm like, I need to be in bed, therefore I will be in bed. Like, whatever. Like, you need to come do your thing, you need to flush the radiators, go ahead. I ain't moving. But yeah, afterwards I was texting Perry and I was like, he must have thought I was really like a really lazy person or something, because I wasn't even out of bed and it was like 11:30. Anyway, by the time he was done, and the problem with that was when he was here I couldn't get on with any work for a couple of reasons. One, I was planning on doing a lot of filming yesterday, which I don't feel comfortable doing when there's other people in the house. I don't mind with Perry because he's like 2 floors down and he understands when I'm filming, like it doesn't bother me. But if there's like tradespeople in the house or something, I'm like, I can't be filming. I'm too self-conscious for that. But also the second reason was one of the radiators he needed to flush is up here in the attic, and it's behind my desk, behind my big desk where I film. So I had to like speed tidy my office yesterday, so it's actually pretty tidy right now, which is pretty impressive. Speed tidy my office, and then Perry had to move my desk out the way so he could actually access the radiator because it's like right behind it. So I couldn't even work up here even if I wanted to until he was done, because the stuff was all moved and I couldn't get to what I needed to get to anyway. But I did actually get around to filming some stuff yesterday afternoon, which was good. Then by the time I had to go pick up Layla and I got back, and I was dead again. I don't know what it is. It's like I have 2 or 3 hours of like feeling okay per day, where I'm like, okay, I can do something right now. Like this is my window. This is my very tiny window of opportunity to do something. And I do stuff, but then I'm like incapacitated the rest of the time. Like, okay, no, I need to go lie down now or whatever. And last night I fell asleep again. Must have fallen asleep around 7:30, and I woke up at 10. So horrendous timing for a nap. But there again, I wasn't up as, I mean, I fell asleep again around 3 in the morning. So not ideal, but not as bad as it could have. Last time I had a nap that late in the day, or like I fell asleep at 7, woke up at like 10 or 11 p.m. Last time that happened, I was up till 5 the next morning. So falling asleep at 3 was definitely better. But then I slept straight through till like 10:30 this morning. So I don't know. My sleep is all over the place. I'm kind of just rolling with it at the moment. It is what it is. A couple of other updates though. One thing I noticed this morning, and I think I only just noticed it because it's not really something I pay a lot of attention to, but when I was pregnant with Layla, I got so many stretch marks. So many. They popped up almost instantly. As soon as I found out I was pregnant, I started getting stretch marks like within my first trimester, and they just kept coming. Like the whole pregnancy I got tons of stretch marks. This pregnancy I've had no new ones. I still have obviously all the scars from the old ones, but I've had no new stretch marks this time round, and I actually still have areas of like loose skin where the bump hasn't quite filled it out yet. So clearly she still has some growing space. But yeah, I guess I'm so far, touch wood, I'm 31 weeks pregnant and I haven't had any new stretch marks this time around. Not that I really care, because clearly I hadn't been paying attention and I've only just realised this fact this far in. It's not something that really bothers me. It's just I thought it was an interesting thing to make note of. I don't know why. That's enough waffle for now. That was my update. I'll see you guys later. I am now 32 weeks along, 32 weeks in a couple of days. It is Saturday the 7th of May, so officially less than 8 weeks to go now, which is strange to think about, but also really exciting. And yeah, so we actually had another scan a couple of days ago. Well, actually bang on 32 weeks I had another scan, and so this time we managed to get some really cute little photos. Well, we got one cute photo. So we've got the side profile with her face, like her nose and mouth, and that's her hand up there, and her head. And then this one as well, just covering up my details. So that's her arm in like a fist. But then we were graced with a rather horrifying face-on photo of her. Like, that is the stuff of nightmares right there. Look at that. So that's her eye. We've got a nose and a mouth here. Yeah, so that was what we came away with as anyway, cute photos. She's doing well. She's growing great. She's about 2 kilos at the moment, so that's what, a little over 4 pounds. She's doing really well. Another sort of thing that's been different with this pregnancy that I don't think I've really spoken about is the weight gain this time around has been drastically different. When I got pregnant with Layla, I was a lot lighter. I was a lot like, I didn't weigh as much as I weighed this time when I got pregnant. So I started out a lot lighter weight wise, and I gained a lot with Layla. I think I probably put on something like 30 kilos with Layla. Like, I gained way too much, more than is recommended. But we were going through a lot back then. If you've been following me since I was pregnant with Layla, you'll know that we were like planning to move whilst I was pregnant. We did move while I was pregnant, moving from Bahrain to New York, and there was all the stress associated with that. So really focusing on eating healthy was kind of very much a secondary priority when there was so many other things going on at the time. And so it was a lot of convenience food and a lot of just eat whatever I wanted kind of thing. And I had a lot more cravings with Layla. Like, I was a lot hungrier. I had more of an appetite than I do this time round. And then this time round, like I said, when I got pregnant, I was already a lot heavier when I conceived this one. And I had a lot more morning sickness this time round. So I lost about 5 kilos in the first trimester, or something around that. And it took a while for me to gain that back to begin with. And at the moment, I am about 2 kilos heavier than I was when I first got pregnant. So I'm about, what, six and a bit months in. No, 7 months in now. Jeez, it's getting there. I'm about 7 months pregnant, and I'm only about 2 kilos heavier than I was right when I got pregnant, sort of thing. So it's taken me a while to gain that weight back, which is a good thing, because like I said, I was already overweight to begin with when I got pregnant. And basically most of the weight I've put on is actually just the baby. Like, I haven't really gained anything, which is good. The doctors have been great. I've not had, and midwives and stuff, I've not had anyone comment about my weight. I've not had anyone bring it up. I've actually only been weighed twice this entire time. They weighed me at my first booking in appointment, and only because I brought it up did they ask if they could weigh me at the last appointment I had. Otherwise, I've never been asked to be weighed at any point during any of my appointments, which is not, like, I'm not affected by that. I know a lot of people can be quite affected by it. I know my situation with my weight. I know that I need to do something about it. Like, I know all the facts. I know the health benefits. I know all that stuff. So I'm not blind to it, essentially. But I'm also not, I'm very thankful that I don't, you know, I'm not triggered by that sort of conversation. I'm not triggered by those sorts of topics. It doesn't affect me in that sort of negative way that it can do for a lot of people. So it doesn't bother me in the same way, I guess. I'm very much aware of the facts, but I've never been made to feel bad about my weight whilst being pregnant. I've never been made to feel guilty or been pressured to, like, not put on weight by doctors or anything. And the only time weight has ever come up in conversation with a medical provider in my prenatal care has been when I brought it up, not when they've never brought it up. So just wanted to make that clear, I guess, because I know that can be something that's quite difficult for some people, or some people don't have that sort of experience. But yeah, so at the last checkup I had, like right after my ultrasound, I had a midwife appointment, and they were very happy with kind of like where I was at. They said for someone who was as heavy as I was when I got pregnant, the recommended weight gain is between 5 and 9 kilos. So I guess that's like between 10 and 20 pounds, I guess, or maybe 10 and 18 pounds, something like that. I'm not entirely sure. I always think of it as 2 pounds per kilo, but I know it's a little bit more than that. Or a bit less than that, I can't remember. Anyway, about that. So yeah, I'm doing great in that regards. They're very happy with that, and I'm happy with it as well, because it was the one thing I was concerned about, because I struggled a lot with losing weight after I had Layla, obviously, because I was heavier this time around when I got pregnant anyway. And but yeah, anyway, I guess that's one other positive side effect. Like I said, even after the morning sickness went away, my appetite has never been what it was before I got pregnant during this pregnancy. I find a lot of the times I don't eat much during the day. I tend to graze, like nibble on little things here and there. And even though we are eating a lot of convenience foods and a lot more takeaways than we normally do, because I've been so unwell, I've not been able to cook as much. And so sometimes it becomes, you know, it comes down to, you know, Perry has to do a lot of the stuff around the house and with Layla and stuff, so sometimes he just doesn't have time to cook as well, or he'll cook but then other things don't get done, and so it's just a balancing act, and sometimes we're all just tired and we just want something easy. I feel like I've just been rambling a lot about this, but anyway, that's kind of my update for now. Nothing else has really changed. Like I said, that was the only other thing I really hadn't spoken about, I don't think, and I thought it was interesting because it's been so different compared to when I was pregnant with Layla. And with Layla, every time I had a doctor's appointment, they'd weigh me every single time. I went in, it was like just part of the process. You do a pee sample and you get weighed in, whereas this time, like, they want the sample each time, but they don't ask to weigh me, which I thought was interesting. It's just a different experience. So yeah, I will check back in if I have anything else to share with you. So back with another pregnancy update. I am now, how far along am I? 34.5 weeks pregnant, getting very tired, I don't feel like the bump's getting much bigger at this point, but I'm feeling a lot more like tired. She's wriggling around a ton. Don't know if I think I must have told you, she's now head down as of the last scan. She sort of like wiggles around from one side to the other. I wake up sometimes and my bump is very lopsided, but yeah, she moves a lot more like forceful movements, shall we say. I don't know if I mentioned this before. I probably have. Again, I forget what I've already talked about, but with Layla, she was very much her kicks and everything were very much buffeted by the placenta, because my placenta was at the front. It was anterior, but this time my placenta is high and posterior, so it's at the back and it's high up, so I feel the movements and you can see the movements a lot more than I could with Layla. So that's actually really nice, because like I said, I didn't get to feel and see that as much the first time round, but it also catches me by surprise a lot more, so every now and again I'm like, oh, that's a bit sore. But no, otherwise doing okay, spending a lot of time resting, not really getting much of anything done these days, to be quite honest. It is just getting through the days at this point. We went strawberry picking yesterday, so I've got some farm fresh strawberries to snack on in a little bit, and yeah, that basically did me in for the day. We went strawberry picking in the morning for about half an hour, and then we came back here. Perry's parents came, we went with Perry's family, and they came back here afterwards, and then I was like, okay, now I need to go lie down. I got up for some food at lunch and then basically was in bed the rest of the day, absolutely shattered. So yeah, it's just a lot of fatigue, a lot of tiredness. Sorry about any background noise, it's raining, but it's also quite warm, so I wanted the window open. But yeah, that's about it. Next up on my to-do list in terms of baby stuff, I think I mentioned it, I did a round of washing baby things. I've got a few more bits that need to be washed, but all the baby clothes have been washed now, at least the newborn stuff that I have. And then I need to just go through and start packing my hospital bag and the baby's hospital bag. So I have a list, so I know what I need to pack, I just need to do it. I'm not sure why I'm putting it off, because I kind of want to get it done and just be prepared and not have to like freak out about it. So yeah, that's it for now. So today is Wednesday the 1st of June. It is quite late in the evening. It's about 11 p.m. as you can see. It is dark outside my window. Like I said, it's 11 p.m. It is night time. I am, well, tomorrow technically I'll be 36 weeks pregnant. I had another growth scan today at the hospital, and things were fine for the most part. There was one main area of concern this time round. So basically every time we have a growth scan, they track the growth of the baby. It's kind of what it's for. And they'll check to see how big she is on the growth chart. And what they want to see is a steady increase, like where she's tracking along the same sort of line, as it were, on the curve. But at the last scan that I had, her growth had slightly dropped a little bit from where she had been the month prior, which at the time was still within like the normal range and wasn't of concern. But this time, at my scan today for her gestational age, she dropped quite a bit. So she was almost down to the 10th percentile, which is quite small. And that's kind of their like threshold, I guess, for concern. She wasn't quite at the 10th percentile, a little bit above it, but not much. And so thankfully I was seeing the consultant straight after anyway. So while I was waiting around, I did the thing that you're never supposed to do when you get confusingly weird, not quite good or bad news. So you sit there and you Google it and you start freaking yourself out with what you find on the internet. But essentially what I figured out, and was later confirmed by the consultant, is that I essentially have, or she essentially has, fetal growth restriction. And it is most likely caused because the placenta's not working properly at this point. And so she's not getting all the nutrition that she needs because the placenta's effectively not working properly. But at the moment, like I said, it's not at the point of being super concerning. Like, all the other numbers are within like the normal range, as it were. Everything looks okay otherwise. There's no sort of concerns in terms of blood flow and all of that sort of stuff. But it's something they obviously want to keep an eye on. And I said to Perry they wouldn't have sent me home if there was a problem of serious concern. And like I said, I'm not going into super specifics about different numbers and the stats and all of that, because that's not really relevant and that's not something I want to be sharing. But so yeah, I'm having another scan next week, and if things have not improved or they've gotten worse, then the likelihood is I'll be induced straight away. They won't let me go home. They'll basically admit me and get the induction process started. So that would be right around 37 weeks. Otherwise, if things are looking the same or have improved, then they'll let me go one more week, and then I'll have another scan at 38 weeks. And at that point they'll then decide, at that point then I'll probably get induced. So either way, they're not going to let me go past 38 weeks. And yeah, so that's, in some respects I'm happy about that because I've been in so much pain. That's the other thing, I've been in a lot of pain since the last time I updated you guys. My pain and discomfort has ratcheted up several notches, to the point where earlier this week I phoned the hospital because I was like, I am in so much pain and it's so drastically different and it's increased so drastically pretty much overnight that I'm like, I'm not sure if this is normal or do I need to come in. They reassured me over the phone that what I was feeling was probably just really extreme pelvic girdle pain. Basically, if you can imagine, it's like someone had whacked me between the legs with a bat. I'll just leave it at that. It was painful, so painful in fact that for like 2 days I basically didn't leave the floor of the house that the bedroom's on, because I couldn't handle stairs because it was so bad and it hurt so much. I've spent 90% of my time lying down because anything else is uncomfortable. And yeah, so it's been really rough. So in some respects I'm happy that she's going to be coming out sooner rather than later, just because honestly every week that goes by I feel worse and I'm in more and more pain, and there's nothing they can do about it because everything is related to me being pregnant. So I need to not be pregnant for this to all go away, as it were. So yeah, it's either going to be next week or the week after, and baby girl will be here soon. So this is probably going to be the end of this vlog. Don't want anyone to be concerned, because I'm not particularly concerned. When I got home, I sort of updated Perry because he had to stay home because of Layla. She's on half term this week, so he had to stay home, wasn't able to come to the appointment with me. But he was quite concerned. He didn't understand. He was like, well, why can't they do the Doppler scan sooner, and blah blah blah, this, that, whatever. And he spoke to a couple of doctors that he's worked with in the past. He's worked in the life sciences field, and so he's he knows a few medical professionals, as it were. Not so much specialists in like obstetrics or anything, but they obviously know enough to be able to like talk to him about it. And they reassured him that you know, the process and what they're doing is basically normal in terms of how they're handling it, how the doctors are handling it, and that it's not something to be concerned about right now, that everything should be fine. Obviously, if there was anything of concern in terms of like blood flow to the baby or anything like that, they would have just been like, sorry, you can't go home, you have to stay. But and yeah, but they're not worried about that. So the next scan is going to really show what needs to be done. And realistically, because I'm 36 weeks now, baby could come at any time and it would be fine. But this is what Perry's doctor friend told him on the phone as well, was like, and this is also what the consultant told me, it's kind of like weighing up the risk benefit scale, as it were, between leaving her in for longer versus getting her out early, and which option is going to potentially have more of a risky outcome, as it were. So leaving her in for another 1 to 2 weeks obviously allows her to grow more, but also if she's being growth restricted, then you kind of want to get her out a bit earlier so that she's not too restricted. So it's a delicate balancing act. So we will see how things go. I'm not overly concerned, I'm not stressing about it, because there's not really much I can do right now. But obviously if anything does change, I will be the first to be showing up at the hospital to be like, could you make sure everything's alright? I'm not about to risk my baby. So it's very much just one of those things now. And yeah, so we've got the long weekend coming up here in the UK this weekend, getting the final few things sorted out around the house. So basically everything's ready. My hospital bag is packed. Perry has to pack his bag for the hospital, and his parents are coming over tomorrow to help out with some stuff in the garden. And then Layla's off to my parents for this weekend. My mum gets back on Friday, so the timing is pretty much spot on. She wasn't actually going to come here until, so she gets back on Friday. She wasn't going to come over until the week after, but I've told her, no, I need you to come on Sunday now. I need you to come back when Layla comes back, because I need you to be here in case I end up going to hospital next week. So yeah, so that's kind of been pushed up a little bit quicker, which is fine. My mum's fine with that, obviously. The whole reason she's coming back now is to be here for me. And yeah, so the last two things we have to do is Perry has to go get the car cleaned and install the car seat, and also we need to wash the sheets and get the spare room set up for my mum. Otherwise everything else is done, pretty much, in terms of like things that had to be done before baby comes, sort of things. There are other things that we would have liked to have gotten done, but none of that stuff is things that had to be done before baby gets here, if that makes any sense whatsoever. I would have liked to have organised and tidied up a couple of other areas and spaces and things like that, but in the grand scheme of things, that's not really that important. The main thing is I need to have clean sheets on the bed in the bedroom for my mum, and the car seat needs to be in the car for the baby. So those are the two key things that have to be done. Otherwise everything else has already been sorted. And yeah, that is it. So yeah, now she's kicking me, so I'm gonna leave it at that. Thank you for joining me on this journey. I don't know how long this vlog's going to be, probably quite long and chatty, but yeah, I hope you'll enjoy it. Like I said, this will be the end of this video. I probably won't be vlogging anymore on this one. What I will do is I will obviously, probably after this video's come out, I will let you guys know on Instagram when baby shows up. But after that, probably a few weeks after, I'll post another video sort of introducing the baby and sort of covering the last little bit of the pregnancy that's not covered in this vlog. I kind of did that when Layla was born. Back then, when I was pregnant with Layla and after I had her, I was filming podcasts and updating you guys a lot more frequently than I have been this time around, and I had really hoped to get another podcast out before baby comes, but because I've been in so much pain and so uncomfortable the last couple of weeks, I've really not done anything. I've not been able to get up to my office that often. I've barely done any knitting. So it's just not been, unfortunately, it's just not been on my list of priorities right now. So I will be doing a follow-up video after she's born as well. So you can look forward to that. And there's also another really fun vlog coming, which is mostly already filmed. I just have to film the last little clips for it over the weekend, and then that will be ready as well. So there'll be a couple of videos. There'll be this one and one more before baby arrives, and then yeah. We'll see what happens after that. But yeah, definitely going to be a June baby. Alright, thank you so much for joining me for this video. Wish me good luck for this last little bit, and I will see you guys very soon. Take care. Bye!